destiny is a rising sun. Oh, I was born, 6 gun in my hand, behind a gun I make my final stand.
Hey everybody, Football Protocol. One of the first things you want to do with your well water is have it tested. Now, in the area I live in, there's propagation of saltwater intrusion. I live on the Gulf Coast, and that would be the first thing you need to test for. And I didn't find any type of test kits for the saltwater intrusion, so I had to take it to a local lab that tests the city's water and check it for salt water or sodium content. And the EPA suggests that the limit would be 20 milligrams per liter of sodium in your water. So I had mine tested and it was 18 milligrams, so I'm in the safe zone, so I got lucky there. That test by itself cost me $60, and so once I found out that it don't have a harmful saltwater content, I could actually drink this water. But before I drink it, I would also filter it also. But other thing I want to do is check it for bacteria, lead, pesticides, nitrates and nitrites, total chlorine, pH, and hardness. So what I did some research on the internet and found this, and I got this on eBay. This is 4 test kits. I can test 4 different water samples with it for these different contaminants in the water. And this was it was $50, and that was including the shipping. And what we're going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and test the water in my well, and I'll show you how I did it. So let's go ahead and get started. You can test 4 different times with this kit, so that's 4 different water sources for all these different contaminants. And this first test is this little vial right here is for bacteria. What you do is you fill it up to this I don't know if you can see it, up to this about a ½ inch below the top, which is 5 milliliters. And what you do is you set it in a room temperature at between 70 and 90 degrees and let it sit for 48 hours. And what's going to happen if it comes up negative, the vial will be purple, and if it comes up positive for bacteria, it's going to be yellow. So that's a 48-hour test. Let's see, and the next test is going to be this one's for pesticides and lead. And what you're going to do is you're going to take there's a couple of vials in here, or a vial in here, and you put your test strips in it, and there's a chart that you look at, and it'll tell you exactly if it's below the limit. This test strip is the same thing. You just dunk it in the water, and what you do is they've got a chart here, tells you what if it's below the ppm, which is parts per million, for nitrates and nitrites. Just a test strip. And the last one's going to be your total chlorine and hardness strips. So very simple, straightforward. We'll go ahead and do the testing. Okay, this first test is for the bacteria. And all we're going to do is take this little vial, open it up. It's got some kind of powder in it. I don't know if that's to activate the bacteria or what. But then we're going to fill it almost up to the top. And we're going to put the lid back on it. And it says shake the hell out of it. About 20 seconds. I think it's going to be good enough. And all you're going to do is you're going to let this, you can see right now it's purple. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got a purplish tint to it. Now I'm going to let this sit for 2 days, and if it turns yellow, we do have a bacteria problem with the well, and it won't be suitable for drinking. Alright, now we're going to go to the next test. Alright, this next test is going to be for pesticides and lead. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your water sample. You've got this little vial. And you've got 2 strips. One's for the yellow one's for the lead, and the blue one's for the pesticide. What we're going to do is squeeze this, pick up your sample, it says put 2 of them in there, and it says swirl it around. Now you're going to take the strips. There's an arrow on the strips. What you're going to do is you're going to place it straight down into the water. Same thing with the pesticides. Kind of swirl it around a little bit, and it's supposed to wait 10 minutes. So we'll come back to that. The next test is going to be for nitrates and nitrites, which is going to be any fertilizers that might have leached into the well. And all we're going to do is take this test strip, and we're going to dunk it in there just for a couple seconds and pull it out, and we're going to let it sit for a minute. And what we'll do is we'll match it up on this chart, and it'll tell you what your ppm is on it. So we'll let that sit for a minute and give you the results. Next test we're going to do is going to be for pH, hardness, and chlorine. So basically all you do is just dunk that in, take it out, and match it up. You're going to match, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's a color on the bottom of this one too. What you're going to do is match these up. It looks like the total hardness is very high. It's 425, it's 8.5 on the pH, and chlorine is 0. We'll look over here on our chart. See, it was 425 on the hardness, and that's going to tell you that we are way high on hardness. The chlorine is 0, so I ain't going to worry about any chlorine. And the pH looks like it's going to be 8.5. So, and it shows here 6.5 to 8.5 is good. So basically, we're looking, we're pretty good shape on those tests. So our hardness is a little high, or quite high, but I'm really not concerned about that. So we'll get back to these other test results. Be right back. Okay, we got the test results for the nitrates and the nitrites, which is going to be your fertilizers. And I believe we're 0 on that, so that's good too. I got just a few more minutes here on my lead test, and this is going to be the result. Negative. When I pull these out, they're going to have 2 lines on them. So what we want is that line to be closer to this 1 than the 2. A positive will show it over here on the number 2 side, that blue line. So it'd be darker on that side. So we'll check it here in just a few minutes. Okay, we've let these sit, these test strips sit for 10 minutes, like it said. So we're going to pull them out, and we're going to look at the chart, and we want the blue line to be closer to the 1 than in the 2s. So let's take a look. I don't know if y'all can see that. Looks like we're in good shape. No lead or no pesticides in it. That's great. So we're looking good. Looking good so far on all of our tests. We've got 1 test left, and that's going to be for a bacteria test, and that's going to be 48 hours on it. So we'll be back in 2 days. Or since we've done the test for the bacteria, and we started out our vial when we first put the water in was purple, and purple is the color that it should be if it's negative for bacteria, and yellow if it's positive. And as you can see, it's kind of looks like pee. It's yellow. So I kind of figured that because what I've read about shallow wells is that it catches all the groundwater and it's going to have bacteria in it. So that's really not a problem, because what I'm going to do if I have to use this well for drinking water is I'm going to go ahead and filter it through my homemade filtering system. You know, the 2 5-gallon buckets. And you put the water in the top, and it's got the ceramic filter in it, and it filters out of there into the bottom bucket, and that's what it catches. And once you get it in the bottom bucket, we got a tap on it for drinking. And actually, what you would do, a half a teaspoon of bleach per 5-gallon bucket. So that'd kill all the bacteria in it. But actually, the ceramic filter that's in it, this Dalton, it's supposed to reduce harmful bacteria, E. coli, and such 99.99%. So you probably wouldn't even have to put the bleach in it. But I would probably still put the bleach in it just to be sure. But anyhow, that was my test results. So I think the kit's well worth it. You could use the kit for actually testing your water, your city water, or your well water. So it's kind of inexpensive. You know, it's what $12.50 a test. You get 4 tests with it, and I paid $50 for it. So I think it would be well worth testing your regular tap water. But I thought y'all would be interested in this. And as for this filtering system, I've got another video on my channel. If you want to check it out, it's on there. So anyhow, appreciate you, and see you later.
Sixpence